Hello, everyone. My guest today is Renat Zubairov. He is the founder and CEO of a company called Elastic.io. We'll jump into it here. They're helping businesses connect applications in the cloud. Renat, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you.
Of course. Tell us more about Elastic. What's your business model? What do you do, and how do you make money?
We at Elastic.io are providing an integration platform as a service. So this is a piece of middleware which is delivered out of the cloud. And we help our customers and our partners connect different applications, being at the cloud business applications together or on-premise applications, legacy applications, to the new generation of cloud software service applications.
Okay. And how is this different from like a Zapier or a Segment?
The Zapier is what's called integration software as a service. So they are more focused on predefined, ready-to-use, simple scenarios. Where integration platform as a service, we're working with more comprehensive use cases, high-value use cases, which is in the same time more complex, bringing more value, but also require a professional approach. So we're more talking to a professional integration people, less to the Zapier-like end users.
Okay, and give me a general sense of what customers pay per month. That way we can understand if you're kind of mid-market, small, or enterprise.
We're talking more about at least like 4-digit numbers or 3-digit numbers starting plans. So we're monthly recurring revenue.
Okay.
So we are on like 10K plus ARR for an average contract. And also the competition and the competitive landscape on this market is really, we're talking about medium-sized to large-sized companies. So it's not unusual to see the 6-digit ARR numbers in this area.
Got it. But generally, average price point, maybe across your entire base, you're talking, $1,000 per month or about 10 grand a year, something like that.
Yeah, something like this.
Okay. Yeah. And give me more of the backstory. When did you launch the company?
Actually, we launched the company in 2013. Basically, me and one of our co-founders. So we were 3 co-founders initially. 2 of us was working in this integration area. So we were working for large companies here in Germany who were doing a lot of integration and enterprise service bus products. And before Elastic, I was working for a company called Talent, which is one of the world's biggest open source data and application integration vendors. They IPO'd recently, which is a really huge success. And this is really a very interesting company. But at the same time, we saw how complicated is it for a traditional vendor to move into the cloud? How much different is it technologically, but also from a business perspective to sell the service and not like, a piece of software which you throw over the fence and then never see the customer again.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. And guys, if you want to hear more about Talon's story, I just had Mike on actually a couple days ago, and fascinating story about how they IPO'd and where they're at today. So you left that company, you launched Elastic in 2013. Did you see something when you were inside of Talon and you said, you know what, I've got to just go build this, and they wouldn't let you build it inside of Talon? So you said, okay, I have to go quit and do it myself?
This cloud and software as a service transformation is just like, it's like once in a lifetime chance. I recently spoke to the people who were really grew their company on the vein of moving from mainframes to PCs. I don't know, it's like really, really far away, but sometimes there was like large computer and then they split it into like tens of small computers. And it was an amazing business opportunity at the time. And major companies were made there. And this is what we see now, exactly the same story, but in the cloud,
yep.
Where the on-premise software moving into the service space.
Now, have you bootstrapped or did you raise?
We bootstrapped actually. In Germany, we have a very good social system. And we basically survived from our savings and this social support for a year. After that, we actually got the first round of investment through business angel investments. I should say here in Germany, the investment works a bit differently. The landscape is completely different. It's significantly different from the States. Mm-hmm. People we're pretty much more risk averse. But we found a very good business angel who supported us. His name is Fabian von Kuhnheim. He's used to be, so he's an entrepreneur himself. He started a company, grew it from 0 to 700 million revenue, and then later on sold it to Avnet. And he supported us on the way to the next stage, which happened in March this year.
So Renat, how much total have you raised?
We do not really disclose this number, but it's a 70.
You cut out there. Did you say it's a 7-digit number that you raised?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Now, are you still operating privately? My research team said you need to ask him about being acquired by Vice AG. Are you part of that company or no?
Correct. So we, as of March this year, we are part of a larger organization, which is Vice AG. This is a publicly traded company here in Germany. Although it's a really publicly traded company, which also grows on a similar pace as we grow, over 100% a year, which is really a success story, what we see. And they own 75.1% of our stock right now.
Got it. Okay, so they bought a big chunk of it. Interesting. Tell me more. Let's switch back to kind of your customers, how they think about the product. What have you scaled to over the past 4 years in terms of total customers using the platform?
We have seen pivots in this history of Zapier. Basically, we started integration software as a service, more like Zapier and Zline, right? But after a time, Nathan,
yep.
Can you hear me? I think there's slides.
I can hear you. Yeah. How many customers are you serving today?
Okay. So right now we're having around about 200 customers,
okay.
Which is companies, business customers. But during the history of Elastica, we were having around more than 1,000 and 1,500 of customers, but it was really small, teeny customers. And then we pivoted towards the more platform-like approach and less software service-like approach.
Well, and look, you've probably driven up your minimum price. So you've moved up market, and you articulated earlier your minimum price is around a $10,000 ACV or about $1,000 a month. I mean, so multiply that times 200. You guys are north of $200,000 in monthly recurring revenue, right?
Round about that.
We see
a lot of direct and indirect customers, so it's not majority of our customers, it's to be honest, indirect customers.
I see.
As we are pretty much focused now on white labeled and OEM partnerships.
I see. Okay, so maybe a little less than $200,000, but right around there. And talk to me about growth rate. You said 100% year over year. So if I go back 13 months to December 2016, you were doing about $100,000 a month then?
Roundabout. Although I think this the growth speed up a little bit in the 16. So the 16 we grew almost 700%.
Between 2015 and 2016?
2016 to 17. And 17 to 18 we grew another 100%.
Well, 17 to 18 we're still in, right? We still have 11 months left or in 2018, right?
No. I mean, we grew from January 17 to December 17, around about 100%, and January 16 to December 16, around about 700%.
Got it.
Because of the pivot, we actually have to kind of reinvest in the product a lot. We have to scrap a lot of stuff we did also on the business side and then relaunch it and reboot it and find new customers.
Yep.
So that was essentially led to the very fast growth in 16 and then continue this 100% growth year to year in 17.
In the SaaS space, obviously, churn is something you have to manage very tightly. It sounds like you had intentional logo churn because you want to get some of these smaller paying customers out. However, your revenue churn should have stayed healthy if you kept the higher paying customers. Which of those churn metrics do you care more about, and what are you at today in terms of total churn?
We're definitely caring more about revenue churn. What we also noticed, in the small customer space, the churn is significantly different from the enterprise and large customer space, right? So the people are in the enterprise, they don't really change the middleware every day, not even every year, maybe every 5 years.
Yep.
So the churn is nearly or very small.
What is small though, Renat? Are you below 20% or 10% per year? What is it, would you say?
Well, it's maybe 5% a year.
Oh, got it.
like this. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, we see the churn due to the changes in the organizational structure, but very, very little ones. There's no churn due to the product replacements. Yeah.
Yep. And how are you getting these customers? What are you willing to spend to acquire them?
Oh, this is actually right now, we do have a very strong inbound, which we built over the years. And this inbound channel actually works pretty well for us. There are very interesting channels which we found through, for example, Quora. Google is one of the obviously a good channel. There are a number of websites which are working very well, and the rest of it doesn't really work. But apart from that, we actually have really partner and channel sales here, where we go over them to the market through partners and channels. So the channel way of selling is really prevailing. And I believe for this year, we would also mostly focus on partner and channel sales.
Okay. So what's the kickback that you give a partner when they drive a sale? Is it 10%, 20%, 30%?
It's highly depending on the partners. There's we cannot really declare this.
It's individual negotiations. Yeah. Okay. But generally speaking, I'm trying to get to your CAC number. You generally, in terms of CAC, you pass that on to a partner, and they just pay you. They keep a cut, you keep a cut. So your payback period is almost instant, right?
The customer acquisition cost for us is actually pretty high, because obviously, in this CAC calculation, what do you see as a customer? Because for us, the customer is is it an end customer for partner or partner itself, right? The partner itself also takes some time to acquire. It takes some time to really nurture and also support. And especially in the area where we work with the partners, where the partners are buying not a solution they can immediately resell to the end customer. They buy a tool where they build a solution on top and then resell. And this building a solution could take several months.
So
right?
What is your CAC, would you say then? Just let's do for the agency partner.
I would suggest we actually don't have yet a clear number on the partner acquisition costs, right? But my gut feeling would tell it's something like maybe 10K per partner.
Okay, and how quickly are you able to recover that capital? Is it 2 months? How quickly do you get that money back after you land the customer?
That's a good question. To be honest, I couldn't really tell you out of my mind.
Okay. It must be something you track, though, obviously, because CAC and payback period is obviously critical to a SaaS company. I mean, is it generally fairly rapid, less than 6 months, or does it take a while, more than 12 months?
I believe it's somewhere between 6 and 12 months.
Got it.
This is all the customer.
Okay, got it. And what's your team size today?
We're around about 20 people currently.
And where is everybody based?
We are based in 2 countries, actually, here in Germany and in Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Kyiv.
Very good. All right. Let's wrap up here or not with the famous 5 one-word answers here. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I think it would be the Lean Startup from Enterprise.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
I'm reading a book about Amazon's first days, about Jeff Bezos.
Okay, good. Number 3, besides your own, what's your favorite online tool?
Google Docs.
Google Doc. All right. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
7 hours.
That's pretty good. What's your situation? Married, single? Do you have kids?
3 kids.
Okay.
And my small daughter is currently a bit sick. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So 3 kiddos, and you're married. And how old are you?
My age is 37.
37. Okay. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
It always takes longer than you expect.
That's good. It always takes longer than you expect. You guys heard it here from Renat. Was at Talend, which was on obviously a rocket ship, then left in 2013 to build Elastic, .io. They raised a small amount of capital from a few investors, then obviously sold about 75% of the company to a larger company they're now working with. Obviously still building the company. They're 20 people based in Germany, focused on basically, I'm going to describe it as a more sophisticated version of Zapier, right? More power users is probably an appropriate way to say it. That's reflected in their price point at about $1,000 a month minimum. 200 customers. So they're making about $200,000 a month, a little south of that, $200,000 a month, up 100% year over year from December 2016 when they were doing about $100,000 per month. Healthy growth or not. Thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan, for having me.